It's late at night. The house is finally quiet. Your dog has their own bed somewhere in the room. Soft, comfortable, maybe even brand new. And yet somehow that's not where they end up. Instead, sometime during the night, they climb onto your bed. Maybe they curl up at your feet. Maybe they stretch across the blanket. Sometimes they somehow manage to take up half the mattress. Most dog owners assume the reason is simple. Maybe your bed is warmer. Maybe it's just softer. Maybe your dog is a little spoiled. But animal behavior researchers say that explanation might miss the real story entirely, because when a dog chooses your bed over their own, they're not just looking for comfort. They're making a decision that reveals something surprisingly deep about how dogs see the humans they live with. And once you understand what that choice actually means, that nightly habit starts to look very different. Most people assume the explanation is obvious. Your bed is simply more comfortable. It's warmer, softer, and it smells like you. Compared to that, your dog's bed on the floor might seem less appealing. And at first glance, that logic seems perfectly reasonable. But there's one problem with that idea. Dogs are experts at finding comfortable places to sleep. Throughout the day, they move from spot to spot, the couch, the rug, a sunny patch of floor, sometimes even a pile of laundry. Comfort clearly matters to them. But when night comes, something interesting happens. Many dogs will ignore all those comfortable options and walk straight past their own bed just to climb onto yours. Even when their bed is perfectly good. Yes, and even when the room is warm, even when there are plenty of quiet places where they could sleep undisturbed. So the real question isn't just why dogs like soft places to sleep. The real question is this: why do so many dogs specifically choose your bed instead of their own? The answer starts with something most animals take very seriously: where they feel safest when they fall asleep. For animals in the wild, sleep is one of the most vulnerable moments of their entire day. When an animal falls asleep, its awareness drops. Its reaction time slows. For a short period of time, it becomes far less able to detect danger. That's why many species are extremely careful about where they choose to sleep. They look for places that feel protected. And even though dogs now live in comfortable homes, those instincts haven't disappeared. And deep in your dog's brain is a system that still evaluates safety in the same way their ancestors once did. But here's where things become interesting. Over thousands of years of living with humans, dogs developed a powerful attachment bond with their owners. Something behavioral scientists often compare to the bond between children and their caregivers. That bond changes how dogs define safety. Instead of looking only for hidden corners or quiet places, many dogs begin to associate their human with security itself, which means that when your dog climbs onto your bed at night, they may not simply be choosing a soft mattress. They may be choosing the place that feels safest in their world. And that instinct runs deeper than most people realize. What makes this behavior even more interesting is that the bond between dogs and humans isn't just emotional, it's biological. Inside the brains of both you and your dog is a powerful neurochemical called oxytocin. Often referred to as the bonding hormone, it's released during moments of trust, affection, and social connection. In humans, oxytocin plays a major role in the relationship between parents and their children, but studies have shown that dogs can trigger the same response in us. When dogs interact closely with their owners, through eye contact, touch, or simply resting beside them, oxytocin levels increase in both species. Your dog feels calmer. You feel calmer. And that shared sense of safety strengthens the bond between you. Physical closeness makes this effect even stronger, which means when your dog climbs onto your bed and settles beside you at night, their brain may be responding to something much deeper than comfort. That closeness reinforces the emotional connection they feel with you. But the reason dogs develop this behavior in the first place goes back much further than modern homes. It goes all the way back to the earliest days of the dog-human relationship. To really understand this behavior, we need to go back thousands of years, long before dogs had beds of their own. The ancestors of modern dogs once lived alongside humans in early camps and settlements. At first, those animals were simply wild wolves drawn to food scraps and the warmth of human fires. But over generations, something unusual began to happen. The wolves that were calmer around people survived better. One, they stayed closer to human groups, gradually forming a relationship that benefited both sides. Those animals eventually evolved into the dogs we know today. And during that long process of domestication, dogs developed an extraordinary ability to bond with humans. In fact, studies have shown that dogs are uniquely tuned to human emotions, body language, and social signals, more than almost any other animal, which means the connection dogs feel with their owners isn't just companionship, it's something much deeper. And modern research suggests that when dogs rest close to the people they trust, their bodies often enter a calmer, more relaxed state. Their breathing slows, their stress levels drop. In other words, sleeping near you may help your dog feel more secure. But that connection goes both ways. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night and realize your dog has somehow taken over part of your bed, it might help to see that moment in a different way. Because from your dog's perspective, that decision isn't random. Out of every place they could sleep, their own bed, the couch, a quiet corner of the room, they chose to be close to you. Not just because your bed is softer, not just because it's warmer, but because in your dog's mind you represent something far more important: safety. After thousands of years of living alongside humans, dogs have evolved to form incredibly strong bonds with the people they trust. And when your dog curls up beside you at night, that behavior may be one of the clearest signs of that bond. A quiet moment where their instincts tell them they're exactly where they belong. So now I'm curious, does your dog sleep on your bed, or do they prefer their own? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy learning the hidden psychology behind everyday dog behavior, don't forget to subscribe for the next video.